Buy now, pay later is super controversial. If you've been shopping, you know that you've seen this before. You got this buy now, pay later option. But according to this article, about 100 million of these Klarna users, about half of them are not paying back their loans. And just a little history about what Klarna is. Klarna is actually a Swedish company. And let me tell you a little bit about Sweden. Sweden has the highest debt to income ratio in the world, even higher than America. However, it's easier for Swedish people to pay back their loans because there's less required to pay back the loans. Now, coming back to Klarna, a great business model because if your home country, where you're from, is having this big expense problem, it makes so much sense to put something in place that actually helps them help those problems, right? But now, when you go to the United States is on a whole different system. So those 100 million users, a good chunk of them are from the United States. What they didn't take into account is how the US operates a little bit different and has a little bit looser policies. So if you didn't know this, the buy now, pay later system is actually not reported to credit bureaus, meaning that Klarna does not necessarily understand all of the buyer's history or the one that's receiving the loan's history. And as you may have suspected, who is the biggest users of buy now, pay later? It is Gen Z. So think of your 28-year-olds all the way down to your 13-year-olds. Nearly half of them are leveraging the buy now, pay later system. And of course, as you probably suspected, the NASDAQ article calls it out. Gen Z is the least financially educated because of the schooling systems. So the biggest users of this buy now, pay later system are the Gen Z folks, who are also the folks that don't necessarily understand financial literacy, and also are the biggest folks that aren't paying back their buy now, pay later loans. You would think that there would be some type of policy put into place to protect these Gen Zers in order for them to make one, better decisions, or two, just to make it a little bit harder for them to borrow. So if you're Klarna, let me know what you would do, right? Would you make lending out to Gen Zers a little bit more strict? Would you leave things exactly the way they are? Or would you actually make it easier for Gen Zers to get more access to this capital? Let me know your thoughts.